Hello and welcome back to the Villa View for a match preview for the first leg of the semi-finals in the playoffs. We'd all hoped it wouldn't come to the playoffs and the nerves and the pressure that comes with that, but here we are. Aston Villa face Middlesbrough at the Riverside in the first leg, with a trip back to Villa Park coming on Tuesday night. A little bit of a different preview. Dan has unfortunately not been around tonight to record, so I've had to think of something a little bit different. So I've managed to get James Rushton from the Holtecast in to chat to him a little bit about the game, but also got in touch with some of our FanCams regulars. So we're going to have a few different opinions in today's video and see how everyone's feeling about this playoff semi-final. So first off, I'm going to start with James. I'm going to be asking him the questions, but I also put the same questions to everybody else in the video. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to chop in between each person. So a little bit like FanCams in essence. There'll be a question to James, and then each person's answer will follow after that. So we've got a couple of topics to discuss. So first off, we'll start with James. So James, thanks for joining me. Obviously a massive game tomorrow. First of all, how do you see the game going?
Tomorrow's game is really big. It's obviously one of the biggest games of the season. Unfortunately, the first leg's away. So it's like Villa have to march into this stadium. Well, they've only got 2,000 fans going because there was limits set by Middlesbrough. So it's going to be a big ask to go into Middlesbrough and get anything. It's not even a point if you draw, is it?
Whole season comes down to the next week. Big game tomorrow. It's been a nervy week, innit? I'm sure, like all Villa fans, bit of trepidation, bit of excitement, all mixed into one, mixed bag of emotions, really. I see it being a cagey affair tomorrow. Early doors, not going to want to give too much away, either team. Bruce and Pulis, feeling each other out, and then hopefully as the game goes on, we can settle down, find a bit of rhythm, and then really go for it.
Steve Bruce v Tony Pulis. It's not going to be a pretty matchup. I read a stat somewhere that our win in December was the first time that Bruce has won an away game against a Tony Pulis side. So I'm expecting it to be another cagey, tense affair. We have to realise that the game won't be won or lost tomorrow. So we have to go there and be smart, be clever. I think we've got enough experience in the squad. Players like Terry, Chester, Whelan, and even Bruce, he's been there and done it four times before.
I think this game's going to be really tough. I think they're going to be coming into this thinking that this is the one where they need to get the advantage. So they'll be looking to try and get onto the front foot early. I think if we can keep our shape, keep compact, get through the first 30 minutes, then we can nick one like we did there earlier in the season. But it is going to be tough. Anything can happen. If we can get the win there tomorrow, then that'll be a massive advantage coming into the leg over at Villa Park.
So Aston Villa's playoff campaign starts tomorrow at Teesside, the first ever Championship playoff campaign for Villa. And the first leg is so important, not only because it sets our stall out, but because it's away from home. Villa have lost 11 games this season and 9 of them have been away from Villa Park. So that's going to be absolutely massive. Now, I don't think it's going to be a huge disappointment if we lose because we're so strong at home, and I think we'll win. Maybe it won't be comfortable, but I do expect us to win by 2 goals at home. But actually, I think we're going to show the best of ourselves tomorrow.
So obviously the danger man is Adama Traore, everyone's talking about, ex-Aston Villa. Obviously Adama came the opposite way. 2 players that had great seasons. How do you rate Adama Traore?
You'll see a lot of comments here or there on him. It's very extreme. It's either A, he's a headless chicken who can't play football and he's still very raw, or B, he's going to run rings around us and destroy us and send us back to the Stone Age. The truth is always going to be in the middle. I think Adama is someone, I think his best quality is obviously his dribbling, and now a lot of people dismiss that because, quote unquote, he's got no end product.
Yeah. End
product doesn't necessarily matter that much. If you've got a man who is simply a subway tunnel from A to B, then and if he lays it off, it doesn't matter. It doesn't always come down to end product. It's where he can get the ball to. He will travel with the ball. It's almost like the ball teleports from one side of the pitch to the other. So yeah, I think Adama is really dangerous, and especially when it comes down to one game, these type of games rely on individual talent. So when you're looking at someone like Adama who's got loads of individual talent, then this is his time to shine, really. And unfortunately, it's if he's going to shine, it's going to come against Villa, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't see that he's going to be enough by himself to do enough damage. I think we've got Terry and Chester who will be there they'll marshal whatever he's going to do. They'll be insured on top of the fullbacks. They know their jobs. I think we've got more than enough. I don't think Traore is really anything to be overly concerned about.
They've got some really good players going forward. Sambalonga for me is the one I'd be more worried about over Traore. I think Traore can be very hot or cold. Remember the home game in the league, he got sent off after like 5 minutes, kind of lost his head.
He's going to be really up for it, and I think that we've got the quality to stop him in the Scottish Cafu should he play tomorrow. I just think he's not really reached his potential. He'll be itching to try and get one over us, but equally we've got Albert Adema who will want to do the same, won't he? So I'm not too bothered about him, really. Not massively. I think they've got danger all over the park, and I think it'd be foolish to concentrate on him solely.
Since Pulis has arrived at Middlesbrough, he's been an absolute sensation, and now they're talking about a £30 million player. I'm not quite sure whether that's true or not, but there's no doubt that he's been in great form. But he's not the only one. Patrick Bamford as well has been freely scoring of late. You've got players like Britta Sombalonga. Even Ryan Shotton is going to cause us problems because he's the archetypal Pulis player. You know, he's got a long throw, he's a tough centre back, and they're going to try and cause us problems from set pieces for sure.
You know, he's got that pace to rip teams apart. Not much end product, as we saw in a Villa shirt, but hey, he's got that pace. And I don't think you can plan for that because he will outrun you anyway, so you can't keep up with him. So how are you going to tackle him anyway? If he gets some space to open his legs and run, nobody's going to catch him. I think we've got to stop this supply line to him and cut out those passes out wide and get to him, because you know if he starts to run, then you know he doesn't need much skill because he can just knock it round you and run. Hopefully tomorrow there's no end product like we saw at Villa, or very few occasions. Hopefully he has one of those nights. I think if he has an end product on a consistent basis, he's a top Premier League player. So we don't see it tomorrow.
So obviously it's two very experienced managers in Steve Bruce and Tony Pulis going up against each other in this game. And we've got players who have been there and done it. And obviously the manager as well has got a bit more playoff experience than Tony Pulis. How much of an impact will that experience make for Aston Villa in the playoffs?
I think the critics of Pulis can certainly they'll have to think again when Middlesbrough play us, because it's going to be a different type of Pulis side. I don't think he's had that much time, to be fair, to implement his style of play. Certainly, it would have been disastrous to completely convert Middlesbrough to the Church of Pulis halfway through a season. But yet, on a different side, I think the flow of the game, it's going to depend very much on how Villa can restrain Stuart Downing and Adama Traore on the wings. I mean, say what you want about Downing, how he might be getting on, but he's still got perfect delivery and from deep. And if that goes to Bamford in the box, it could be game over. So you've got to look at this game's going to be won on the wings. This game's going to be won on the wings. So if you want to see Whelan or Jedinak stretch out, it's going to be a very wide game. I'm not sure if it's going to be end-to-end stuff, but it's going to be certainly going to be a war.
For me, I think the Pulis thing makes a big difference. I think he's going to be a real tricky manager to come up against. He's not going to go all out. He's going to try and probably keep it low scoring, try and nick it at the end. But a big part of me thinks, like when Liverpool get their stadium rocking, if we get even a draw and come back, we'll beat anybody at Villa Park and we'll get to Wembley. I really think that at Villa Park we're going to take anybody on. We just need to not lose it in that first game. Stay strong, be positive against them, but just don't get silly results.
Pulis, he's got that knack, hasn't he? Set pieces. You know, we've got to be wary. We know Pulis likes his set pieces. We've got to be ready for that. Rudiger Stead from a set piece. We know how dangerous he can be from a set piece. You know, we've got to put Chester or Terry, you know, and have a plan for that. But let's think what we have and what we've got. Grealish, Snodgrass, Horahan, Grabban. We've got players that can hurt them. So let them worry about us, because I think over the two legs, I think we've got enough to get there.
A lot of people have sort of criticised the players we've got in, and sort of people like John Terry spending in big wages. But this really has got to be the games that he comes to the fore. He's really been there. He's talking this week about that if we come up, he's going to stay another year. It's not like he doesn't want to do it. He's not going to want this on his CV as not going up. He's going to want his CV to show all of his Chelsea accolades and then coming to Villa Park, taking us up as part of everything that comes with him. I think we've got Snodgrass, who's done it before. We've got all these players that Bruce knows, he trusts. And I think we should do it. I think without sort of being overconfident about the result, we're a better team than them. We can perform better than them. And Villa Park second leg couldn't be better. Already sold out. We'll take them on.
And finally, a score prediction. Can we ask that of you? Obviously, it's hard to predict a game like this, but how do you expect the game to go generally, and a score prediction for this one, James?
I'm terrible at predictions because if you've been on my Twitter, you'll have seen that I've never got one right this season. I think a really positive result for Villa would actually be 0-0 or a 1-1, something just to take. You got a goal away at Middlesbrough, you can go to Villa Park with that happy.
Yeah.
Even a 1-0 loss, damage restriction, get yourself to something where you can bounce back at Villa Park in that second leg. It's all about preparation. You've got to give yourself the best platform possible for that second return leg at Villa Park. If you lose this match 3-0, it's going to be a big ask to turn that around, even at home, even with 40,000 backing you. It's going to be a big ask. Yeah, score prediction, I really think, due to how even the teams are, I really think this could be a 0-0. And I know that's boring and probably not what most people want to hear. I think you want to hear a win.
Yeah.
But 0-0, I think that's a really, really, really positive result to take back at Villa Park. It's going to be a nervy game, that second leg, if it's 0-0. And Villa have got a massive crowd backing them. And they show up for these big games. So why not? I'll take that.
I think tomorrow's going to be cagey. I think 0-0. If we can nick it 1-0, that would be great. But yeah, 0-0 I think. And then Tuesday night then, it's got the makings to be a right proper, one of those memorable nights at Villa Park, aka Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, Blackburn. Those nights that was going to stick long in the memory for a long, long time. Let's hope we can do it.
So score-wise, I think we'll get probably 1-1, maybe win 1-0 tomorrow. And then I think Villa Park will win 2-1, 3-1. The stadium, the way it's going to be, absolutely on fire. We'll take them at Villa Park.
I think it'll be 1-0 Villa tomorrow. I'm going to say 1-0 Villa tomorrow. I'm going to say Jack Grealish. And then I think if we can get away tomorrow with a 1-0, take them back to a full Villa Park on Tuesday, I think we'll get the job done.
It's going to be, it's the playoffs. It's going to be nervy. It's going to be kind of a sickening game to watch. But, this is what we pay all that money for. This is the excitement of football, and Villa should be more confident than anybody else. We've got such a deep squad. We're a fit squad. We're ready to go. I just expect us to go there. And if we play with the confidence that we've shown in January, then we absolutely should do the job tomorrow. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I'm going confident. I hope they can deliver. It's going to be an early start for me to get up to Teesside, but I'm very, very excited and looking forward to bringing the victory home.
So just before we end the video, I'm going to go to a few tweets that we had earlier. I posted a tweet just to get a few more reactions from fans who weren't available to come on video today. So I'm just going to skim through a few, pass a few comments and see what people are saying. So first off, we got Darren Woolley, regular viewer of the Villa View, so thanks very much, Darren. He says, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't understand people being nervous. Have faith in lads. We'll play Middlesbrough, not Real Madrid. We can beat them. Love the optimism. I think Middlesbrough, obviously, it's a tough game, as we all know, but keep the faith. I like it. This is one of my favourite ones that we had. This is from Dan the Villa Man. He says, had my appendix removed last Thursday, so hoping for an uneventful 0-0. Just thinking about this game, however, has relieved my constipation issues. Thanks, Dan. Rich Griffiths, obviously Tom Griffiths' dad. Fancams viewers will recognise the name. He says, I'm all good, not nervous at all. What will be, will be. I'd like us to go up, but I'm not adverse to another season in the Championship if all else fails. Can see it being a very cagey, scrappy game tomorrow. See, I sort of understand that viewpoint. I saw another tweet that's saying something like, if you go back in the Premier League and you lose every week, where's the fun in that? I do sort of understand that, but we've had our time in the Championship now, haven't we? It's been 2 years. Last year not great, this year much better. There's a chance to get back to the Premier League. that's what we all want. That's what the club needs. The financial implications of being a Premier League club are massively outweigh being in the Championship. I think I saw something today that it gets you 130 million or something like that. I sort of like the sentiment that if you're in the Championship winning every week, there is something attractive about that. But yeah, time for the Premier League now. David Barron says, this is the Pulis factor. Albion get relegated, Stoke get relegated. Is it surely written in the stars that Pulis guides Borough to the Premier League whilst giving his 2 previous employers the finger as he passes by? I hope not. Yeah, so a little bit of an omen, isn't it, that one in favour of Borough? Although I did see something today, doing a little bit of research this afternoon, that the year that Steve Bruce got Hull promoted via the playoffs in 2016, I think it was, they finished 4th on 83 points, which is exactly what Villa did this year under Bruce. So if that's your thing, then you might take a bit of comfort from that, perhaps. Aston Radford, obviously friend of the channel, says, the best thing about the playoffs as fans, we are putting our whole love and trust into a group of men and management team, and there's nothing we can do about it. As long as we are within a goal of Borough going back to Villa Park, I'm quietly confident. Aston's always very, very well spoken on fan cams, very sensible, so I like that. I like that tweet. One more tweet that I like that went sort of semi-viral over this past week was from Sam McAllister. Now, he didn't send this into the Villa View, but I'm going to read it out anyway. He said, 3 games separate us on where we belong. 3 games, 270 minutes. This is where the calm, experienced heads earn their stripes. 1 more promotion for the man that had the most. 1 more winner's medal for the captain that has them all. The only team I'm scared of is us. And that's something that I think me and Dan have talked about, whether it's been on camera or not. The thing is with Villa, it depends which Villa turns up. If it's the Villa that got beat by Norwich, or the Villa that played early season and didn't get off to the great start, if it's that Villa that turns up against Borough, it's another year in the Championship for us. If it's the Villa that turned up to beat Bristol 5-0, Wolves 4-1, if it's that team that turns up, we've got a good enough squad to beat anyone in this league. It's something we've said for a long time, especially at home. As long as you win the tie after Saturday, I would back us to do the job under the lights at Villa Park, and in a one-off game at Wembley, you'd think we've got enough people in the squad who can get us up for it. You'd like to think that. There's one thing that people often say about the playoffs, and that it's a bit of a lottery. And whilst it's something that I've always thought I agreed with, that your whole season rests on these 2 or 3 games, there is that sense that you deserve what you get. The lottery's totally random. If you play well, you deserve, and you win, you deserve to go up. There was a comment from Robert Snodgrass actually on the official Villa podcast that was aired maybe a month ago, and he gave a great quote about you make your own luck or something like that. I'm going to play the clip now. Obviously the footage belongs to Aston Villa, but I'm sure they won't mind us putting this little clip in the video.
Is it purely a lottery?
No, it's not. It's who wants it the most. It's not a lottery. It's you don't go through sort of 46 games to get to the playoffs and then think, is it a lottery? It's you coming up against an opposition on the 2 games, because that's the hardest part, I would say, is those 2 games, to get through them. A mental, sort of physical, everything you can imagine you need to put into those 2 games to then say, listen, the final takes care of itself. If you're not up for a final, then you'll never be up for it.
So fingers crossed we can get the job done. It's going to be a very nervy game. I'm not quite feeling it yet, but as I'm recording this video, and the more I'm thinking about the game, the more I'm thinking I can't wait for it to be over and we know where we are. If you've enjoyed this video and the views of the fans in this video, then please give us a like and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. We'll read every comment and we'll try and get back to as many of you as we can. Enjoy the game if you can, if you're not too nervous. It's on Sky as well, so everyone can watch it. But safe trip to those who are lucky enough to be heading up to the Riverside tomorrow night. Go to Borough, do the job, come back, get to the final. That's what we all want. Thanks for all your support on the channel and this season. Got a couple more videos to come, of course, maybe a little bit further if we get to the final. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for watching. Up the Villa.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.